Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is I, Dave, the Tabletop Wanderer, and we are back with another one shot, 1 month, and we are continuing with last month's one shot, 1 month. Before we get started, I just want to say sorry, I am really under the weather. I got this really massive flu. I do not know how I got this. I got an idea how I got it, but yeah, it's not been fun this last couple of days. It is my day off, however, and tomorrow is the last of March, so yeah, I'm gonna throw this up. I want to do this even though I am a bit under the weather. So last month we did was Cairn 2nd edition, and we used Cairn 2nd edition in conjunction with Perplexing Ruins' solo gaming sheets. And last month we did a small little hex crawl, and this month we're going to continue with that, but it's going to be different because we are going into the dungeon right here. And as you can see, I've got the solo gaming sheet right here. I've printed it out on A3 and I've laminated it so we can use it, you know, in the future. And I also went up and did some new character sheets for our characters. We got Leda, who was the character that we made up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there's a video on my channel of how I created Leda, and I went on, and since last month we found that we met up with our good friend Cairn, who is an elf magic user. Map fragment. I'm sorry. I'm really. Yeah. Okay. So we went up and we met up with Elf, who is the magic user. She told us a bit about the area of Grey Plain Roofield, which is this area around here. Okay. And we went to hand her off. We'll show her some. How should I say? Some gloves that we had. Okay, we found some gloves, and we went to Jean to see if she knew anything about those gloves, but actually no, she didn't know anything about the gloves, but she told us about these ruins that were there, this dungeon that was there, and probably, we don't know yet, but possibly the gloves are linked to Grey Plain Newfield. That's what we found out last time. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I created up Cairn, okay, because a viewer said don't forget that elves' names have an apostrophe, so her name is Cairn. She is a Fletchwind, so I didn't go very in depth with the how should I say, the magic user part, although she can use a bit of magic, but I'm seeing her more as a magic sort of archer sort of thing. Okay, so I rolled up a Fletchwind for her, and she has 10 strength, 13 of dex, and 13 of will. 13 of will. So as you can see, she does have a bit of will for her magic using sort of things. Also, where did she get her bow? Her bow is a war, which was let me see, war. If you are first to attack, your bow gains the blast property for 2 for the first round, so that's what we got. And her bow is also striped bamboo, which is collapsible. It only requires 1 slot in our inventory, but still requires both hands to use it, of course. For her bonds, she got Moss Witch, which is actually pretty funny because does tie in a bit to what she is. One of your ancestors wronged a moss witch who cursed their bloodline. Your visage causes mirrors to shatter. You've noticed that the shards can sometimes reveal illusions. So we never know. We might actually find a mirror in there and break it because we are pretty. We're just too pretty and beautiful, and like we break the mirror, and the shards could actually try and help us out. You never know. And for our omen, she got a winter map. It feels like the winter has arrived too quickly this year. Frost and snows make their appearance much earlier than expected. There is talk of a pattern to the frost found in windows, ponds, and cracks in the ground. It almost looks like a map. So actually, it is quite funny how sometimes the dice roll, because if you remember last month, or if you haven't seen the video, go back and watch it. There was snow. It was the middle of winter, and so that was pretty cool that the dice came up that way. I've got a little bit of portrait things there going. For her inventory, she has 3 days rations, 3 torches, her bow, a serrated knife which does a d6. She has boiled armor. I forgot to put that on, so she does get 1 armor from here. She has heart-root salve, which regenerates d4 strength, and she rolled up 20 gold, and I bought her some rope. Okay, and that's our characters right there. So we are going to be using the dungeon sheet for today. I got my marker right here, and we are going to need some d6s, so let's do that. Where can I put this? I'll put that just right here and there. Hopefully you can see that. Yes, you can. Okay, do that there. Actually, you know, I'll put that here and that there. That would be better for me because I'm right-handed. So d6, let's see our entrance. We get a 1, so the entrance would be that right there. So our characters, they walk in here. I should have something here to mark them off, to mark where they are. Let's see if I can get something. Do I have anything here? Okay, we'll just use this blue dice. Just use that. So we are right here. And they walked in. Now, the theme of this, we basically already know what the theme is. It is a ruin. Okay, so the type is a ruin. And let's mark that off there. And let's see, what can we call it? So, the ruin of dark 6 and dying 3 ravens. Okay. The ruin of the dark dying ravens. That is our ruin right here. And I can say, because this is in the middle of the forest, right? Because that's where we went to pick up or meet up with Jean right there. And those forests, that forest there, didn't give it a name, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I can see the ravens being a part of. It could have been a cult of raven worshipper sort of thing, you know, people that worship the ravens. Okay, that could be it. And so this is where they all came together to praise the ravens and stuff like that. Okay, so they walked in there, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, they go right, 4, 5, 6, they go left, they go left, 4, we go this one because this one would probably be better to see. So we're going left now. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if we get a corridor or room. 4, we get a room. So now let's roll for that, and it is a 3. Oh, we come to a dead end? No, there is actually a door right there. I'm just going to mark that like that. and then we do sort of a circle thing here, right there, and we got a door at the end of that there. So they walked in here. Now let's do an exploration die. We get a 2, we get a spore, and for the spore we get a corpse. So there's a corpse there. Let me mark this as room 1, right there. And in room 1 we found a corpse. Let's do the ruin of the dark. Let's skip dying dark ravens. Let's just do that. Ruins of the ruin of the dark ravens. And in room 1 we found a corpse. Oh, one thing that we should do, I just remembered. Let's roll to see how many rooms we get in this dungeon. I'm gonna roll a d8 if I can ever find one, because you know whenever you need one you never find one. Here we go. Let's roll for a d8 to see how many rooms we get in this dungeon. We get 7 rooms. Let's put that up here. We get 7 rooms right there. So we found one room, okay, and in that room we found a corpse, and the corpse could actually be from a priest sort of thing, a cult leader, the cult leader. Okay, now can we see if we can find, let's see what the dressing in this is. So we're going to go for natural, 4, and there's crystals. There's crystals in this room. There's crystals in this room. This is perhaps a leader, a corpse of a leader, and there are crystals in this room. Okay. So I'm thinking that the crystals are part of a ritual for the how should I say, the worship of said ravens. That's what I'm saying. So it's part of the ritual of the ravens, the crystals. Okay. Is there anything else that we can find in here? Let's see. Let's turn this over because there is some more stuff in the back here. Bosses, dungeon encounters. Okay, not much here that we can use. So we are in room 1 right there. So let's say that's all we found. So we continue on through that area. Let's see, we get a 6 which comes up to another room, and a 6 we go right here to that there, and so that would be something like this right here, and that could be like, we'll make this a bit bigger than it is there, and that is a door right here. So let's see, we went into this corridor right there, but we need to see if that door is open or not. So we roll down here, hopefully you can see that, roll down there. 4, the door is locked. So G.E. and Leda, they walk up to the door, and Leda, she's up in front. Well, no, let's say Jean is up in front because she's been around here longer, and she puts her hand on the door and the doorknob, and she turns it and it just goes click, 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 and does not open. Now, she also listens. Let's see if they can listen, they can hear anything in there. So, will 13. So, let's see. I can't remember if... don't really remember. But I'm guessing... 62 saves. Okay, so it is a roll under. So it is roll under. So Jean has 13, but Leda has 14 to her will. So Jean turns to Leda and says, "Can you take it and listen? See if you can hear anything inside." And so Leda goes up to the door. She puts her ear to the door. And it is a complete success. She does hear something inside. She hears something inside. What does she hear? Let's see. Man-made. Discovery. Danger, reaction, door. Let's see on the back what we can find. Discovery. Does she hear? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. We got the oracle from this here, from the other perplexing room sheet. We have an oracle. Where did I put that? I'll put it over there. Give me a sec. I'll go and pick it up. So we got the oracle here. Now, let's see. Does she hears something inside? Is that something a monster or enemy, let's say? 2. No, it is not. So if it's not that, I wonder, what can she hear? I'm going to say that what she hears inside was the sound of wind. Yes, there's wind blowing. She hears some wind blowing in there. So 2. They don't know what it is yet, but Leda does hear some wind blowing. 2. And because of that, Jean says, "Okay, let's bust the door down." Let's see. Leda has more strength than Jean. Right, so Leda runs up to the door. She's got a strength of 11, and she whacks the door with her shoulder, and the door doesn't budge. She goes, "It's too hard. It's too hard. I don't know what's behind this door, but it just doesn't want to budge." And Jean says, "Let me try." And she runs up with her strength of 10. And she hits it. She smacks the door. She hits the door with her shoulder, and the door just crumbles. Possibly because Jean Leda had already hit it quite fairly light with a bit of force, and so the door flies open and they're inside the room. And inside the room, let's see, we got some discoveries here. We know there's some wind blowing, and okay, so let's roll for that. Let's see, what kind of room is it? Let's do 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the discoveries. 1, so it's on that. And we get a 2, so it is a library. Not bad. Yes, it is a library. So room 2 is a library. And as they're looking around, Leda sees that there's this little spot of light shining through the wall. And she turns to Jean and says, "Look, I guess that's where the wind was blowing from. And Jean looks at that and says, oh, wait, this must be that little bit of the tomb that is exposed up top, where I started doing my digging, and I probably knocked down that piece of a bit of stone from the wall, and that's where that's coming from. So yeah, it is a library. And Leda turns to Jean and says, well, do you think that we can find something here among these tomes and scrolls, something to do with some information about these gloves? And Jean says, I don't know, let's have a look. So they start rummaging around, and we are going to see what they can find. So Leda has a wheel of 14. Let's see if she finds any scrolls. She does find some scrolls. So Leda found some scrolls, and the scrolls, they had some information on the gloves. Now let's see, can we find anything here that will help us with that? Special items right there. No, nothing around here. Nothing here. Dressing odd. Talking corpse. Let's see. I know. Let's see if anything comes up as they're looking for this through the scrolls in the tomb. Let's do an exploration die. A 2, and there's another spore. And that spore comes out to voices. So as they're rummaging through the books, the tomes and the scrolls, they start to hear these voices. Leave this place. Leave this place. Stay at your own peril. And Leonard turns to Jean and says, did you hear that? And Jean says, yes, I heard it. I think we're not alone in this space. Let's see if we can find what we want and get the hell out of here. And so they continue to rummage around. And does Jean find anything? She's got a wheel of 13. Yes, she does. She finds a tome that speaks specifically about these gloves of letters. And she turns to Leda and says, look, I found something. Let's move. Let's get out of here. And so they start moving back. They go through here. So let's do Wandering Monsters. Let's see, on a 1 and a 2, they do encounter some monsters. They do not. And they kept on running through. But somehow, in just these 2 little things, they overshot the exit because they were in a rush, they were in a hurry, and they overshot the exit, and they continued down this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we get a 5. That's another room, and 2 is that room there. So I'm going to turn that around, that, and we got that door, the room there, and that is room number 3. And they burst through the door. I'm going to say that door is open, and they ran into the door, into the room. So exploration, a 1. There was nothing there. This is okay, whatever, guys. They started looking around, and Leda says to Jean, where are we? Did we miss the exit or something? And Jean says, I don't know. I thought it was down this way. And Leda says, I was running behind you. You're the elf. You're the one that's supposed to know where we're going. So room 3 has nothing. But let's see what sort of room it is. It is a crypt. So room 3 is a crypt. Okay, and nothing happens in room 3. This is becoming very, very, very uneventful. Now let's see. Do they turn back? Let's use the oracle. Do they turn back? 1, an extreme no. So no, they do not turn back. They are completely lost in what was just 1 corridor and 2 rooms. So yeah, they are completely lost in what was basically 2 rooms and 1 corridor, and they do not turn back. And so they continue their journey. There was nothing in the crypt. Did they find anything in the crypt? Let's see. We already saw there was nothing in there. So they go and they continue their way up then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a 6 right here on that there, and it is a 4. And we come up to one more of those round rooms. Right there, and this is room 4. And they walked into room 4. Is there anything in room 4? 6. There is danger. Yes, cool. And in danger we have hazards, traps, an encounter, and monsters. So let's see what we get there. We get a hazard. But first, let's see what sort of room it is. It is a laboratory. So room 4, and there's a hazard here. Now, what sort of hazard do we find in the laboratory? Where is the hazards? The hazard table's not on this. Turn it around. Dungeon loot the corpse. Activity. Denizens. Possible bosses. 2d6 dungeon encounters. Wait, there's no hazard here. Ah, right there. Duh. So the hazards are here under dangers. Yes, of course, David. Like, if you read that danger, okay. Yeah. Let's see what sort of hazard it is. 5. Toxins. Ooh. So as our heroines rush in, this toxic gas cloud just... it actually just flows up from the ground, sort of a trap. And now our female heroes, they will have to do, let's say, a dex saving throw to see if they can roll out or evade that. So, Leda, she's got 8. That's not really good. Let's see. And she misses with 9. So she's going to take some damage. And Jean manages to roll out of the way and goes, "Watch out, Leda!" But it's too late. So Leda took some damage. And we'll just say she took some damage. She took 1 point of damage right there. 5. So Jean rolled forward and she went straight rolling into the next room, which is that one right there. And we'll turn it around so that is like that there, and a door there, and a door there. There is room 5. And in room 5, well, I'm going to do this because we've only got 7 rooms in this dungeon. And that way that'll be one and another, and that'll make it 7 dungeon rooms. And so as Leda rolls through the door bursts open, they run, she rolls into this room, and Jean, not Leda fumbles her way into the room. What was I doing? Leda fumbles her way into the room. And as they walk into the room, let's see, a 6 and a 6. Right, that'll be room 6. But room 5, before all of that, any of that, we're still in room 5. Let's see, what do we get here? Some more danger. And the danger is a special room. And special rooms are up here. Danger? No, it's a hazard. Another hazard. And the hazard is debris. Ooh, okay, so as she rolled through the door, she burst the door open, and that set off a chain reaction of some stones falling from the ceiling to the ground. And once again, they will have to do another dex saving throw. Let's see. So, Leda has 8 for her dex. She nails it. She manages to get out of the way. And Jean, she does not. So now it is Jean's turn to take some damage, and she took some damage. I'm just doing it 1 HP each time. And after that, so both of them are sitting in a corner, licking their wounds, so to speak. And Jean says, damn, we really did take a wrong turn, didn't we? And Leda says, yes, we did. Now, can we find our way back? And Jean says, yeah, let's go forward. And so they walk into room 6. Let's see what's in there. 4, a discovery. The discoveries are up here. So let's do discovery here. And it is treasure. We roll on the treasure B table. And it is a potion. Ooh, nice. So let's say they get a potion of healing. Who gets the potion? Let's see, Leda or Jean? 1, 2, 3, Leda. 4, 5, 6, Jean. 2, Leda. So Leda gets a 1 potion of heal. Okay. And they come to the end of that room. It is a dead end, so they make their way back. Let's see if they get wandering monsters. They do not. And Jean goes up to that door on the left hand side, and let's see if it's locked or whatever. It is locked, and so she is going to use her dex once again to see if she can open the door. And she does. She hits it with a 13. So she opens up the door and she looks inside. And what we get inside is going to be the final room. And I'm going to say that the final room, since we've got a lot of these circle things, that's exactly what it's going to be. It is going to be one giant circular room. Okay, it's not, I know it's not pretty, it doesn't really matter. And in this room, we are going to get a boss. And let's see, so he's got a staff, the captain, the sorcerer, captain, dragon, shrieking right, and Sorlak the lich. Ooh. But first, we are using Cairn. Okay, there's nothing here, but you know what? Let me get the bestiary for Cairn, which is right here. Which is right here. And let's see if we can find something here which will be used for us. Is there a lich in here? There is. 28. Okay, we'll use the lich then. We're going to use the lich. And the lich says, has 18 HP, 1 armor, 18 will, and he has a soul dagger, which does a d8 damage. Powerful wizards who refused death by turning themselves into soulless undead. Able to cast virtually any spell without suffering consequences. Carries 2d6 random spellbooks with him. Critical damage. The target is paralyzed until it fully rests. Okay, and that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with the lich. And our 2 heroes, they're in there with the lich. Okay. Let me just grab this. And we'll put lich right here. And the lich has 18 HP. It has a dagger. Which does d8 damage. And it can use spells galore. Anything? I don't know. This is just a BC. Okay. We'll make up the spells as we go along because that's part of the fun. They walk in, and the lich rises up from the ground. Intruders, what are you doing here? And Leda sees that and goes, hello, how are you? Yeah, we lost our way. We'll be leaving now. Don't worry, we're not here to. We'll be leaving. And she turns towards the door, the lich, and the door slams shut. You are going nowhere. You stay here with me forever. And he he floats straight to Leda. Now, combat. I can't remember how combat works. Let's see how combat works, if there's anything in here. It should say something here. Combat, 64. So, combat. Rounds. Attacking in them. The attacker rolls their weapon die and subtracts the target's armor, then deals a remaining total to their opponent's HP. Attacks in combat automatically hit. Okay, good. Simple. Easy. Done. Let's go. He rolls a D8 and he's going straight for Leda. So D8 straight for Leda. And that is 1. Leda has no armor whatsoever. So Leda goes to 4. Good thing about this system is that, you know what, let's do this here. Good thing about this system is that everything hits. Leda, she has 4 HP left. Well, she actually has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 1, 2. She's got 4 left. And Jean, she also has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and she's down to 5. That way I can keep this nice and pretty. Okay, so that is that. Now, because of that, stake. What does the stake do? Let's see. Because it says that the Bonekeeper starts off with a stake, does D6 damage. Ooh. Okay, so Leda gets hit. And she turns around, she goes, you ghastly fiend! And she takes out her stake and whacks it with 4. And she hits the lich with 4 straight away. 2, 3, 4. And the lich goes, "Ah, puny human, you will stay with me forever." And Jean says, not if I can help it. And she takes out her serrated knife and hits it for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, he has 1 armor, right? Yeah, the lich I think has 1 armor. Yeah, it has 1 armor. So we'll have to take off 2 of these, of each. So 1 from Jean and 1 from Leda. Now, who does the lich attack? 1, 2, 3, Leda. 4, 5, 6, Jean. 6. He turns to Jean, who just hit him with a big strike. And you, pointy ear. Yep, it's one of those videos. And you, pointy ear, you will stay also. And wait, he's a D8. And he does 1 damage, but she has 1 armor, so she takes no damage whatsoever. Leda turns to him and goes, "You leave Jean alone." And rolls for 6. That would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Jean goes, "Thank you, Leda. Let's finish him off." With 4, and that does 3. 1, 2, 3. He's nearly dead. Okay, who is he going to go for? 1, 2, 3, Jean, Letter, and 4, 5, 6, Jean. And it's Letter's turn. He turns to Letter and goes, "That's enough. You're mine." And he hits her with 1. So she takes 1 more point of damage. And she turns to him, "Not today, lich." And that does no damage because he has 1 armor. And she completely fails. As she goes to stab him with the stake, he just steps back. And Jin goes, "Watch out, Letter!" And hits him with 6. That does 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, and that's enough to take him down. And as she stabs him with her serrated knife, he just goes, "Ah!" and dissipates into a cloud of vapor. And they killed the lich. So they killed the lich, and they start to make their way back through the dungeon. And did they find any treasure? Let's see. Does he have any? Let's see if they found any treasure. Did they find any treasure? Yes or no? Where's my? I think it's this one right here. The oracle, right here. 4. A moderate yes. So we'll say they did find some treasure. And what they found was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. They went into this. And they found 3d6 times 100 gold pieces. Okay, that's more than moderate, but we'll take it. 3d6 times 100. That is 8, 9. So that is moderately, we'll say they got 90 pieces of gold. We're not going to give them 900. So each of them get 90 pieces. So that will take Letter to 100. And that will take Jean to 140. No, 95. 105. What am I doing? 105 pieces of gold. And so they started making their way back. Let's see. Wandering monster. What did I say? Can't remember. Okay, on a 1, there's a wandering monster. No. They go back to number 4. No. To number 3. No. And then they made their way out. As they made their way out, they started looking through what they had found, and they found all the information they needed about the gloves, who they belonged to, and the gloves belonged to the fallen king of, what was it called? Where is my sheet? Right here. The fallen king of Grey Plain, Newfield. Well, actually, Grey Plain. Newfield was that area that they had found. And there was a cult of raven worshippers that overthrew everything from this location where they are at right now. And that's what happened. And a summary sort of thing, because the video is getting quite a bit long. Okay, and that is the one shot 1 month for this month. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. I posted up the Let's Make a Dungeon last Saturday, I think it was. A funny thing, got no comments on it, weird, whatever. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all on the next one. Okay, have a great one. Bye-bye.